According to a report announced by the Vietnam Sustainable Energy Alliance early this year, Hanoi is suffering from an alarming air quality situation. In particular, both of the city's air quality index and the level of airborne particulate matter PM2.5 went far below the national and international standards in 2016. According to the report, Hanoi's 2016 AQI averaged 121, which indicates poor quality air and people with sensitive health should stay indoor. The medium level of PM2.5 in Hanoi more than doubled the national standard and more than quadrupled the World Health Organization's recommended benchmark. Scientists refer to PM2.5 as micro-scale airborne particulate matter that can cause respiratory diseases and increase the fatality risks of people with lung cancer and heart issues.
Từ sáng thì không khí Hà Nội như thế là rất khó chịu, mà mây mù thì là kiểu như là có một cái trận bão lớn đấy. Trong những người yếu thì khó thở lắm.
Experts say one of the main reasons for air pollution in Hanoi and Vietnam in general is the increase of automobiles and motorbikes. According to the municipal authorities of Hanoi, between 18,000 and 20,000 new motorbikes are registered every month in the city. The figures range from 6,000 to 8,000 for automobiles. Traffic jam and air pollution in Hanoi are expected to worsen as taxes on automobiles are scheduled to be reduced in the coming years. Experts have recommended a number of solutions to improve air quality in Hanoi, including the limitation of automobiles and motorbikes, the development of public transportation, and the use of bicycles. Hello and welcome to Sharing Vietnam. The number of bicycle users has been rising in Vietnam in recent years for various reasons, such as health benefits and environmental protection. In our program today, we'll get to know more about this trend with Gim Vals Teruel, owner of the Hanoi Bicycle Collective. So hello Gim, thank you so much for joining us today. First of all, could you give some information on your life and your work so far in Vietnam?
Well, as you know, I got married. I got two babies, a girl and a boy, and I got mainly two business. One is a company who brings bicycles. That's why we have a bicycle shop, and pollution mask and all things related to cycling and commuting. My other business is a garments factory. We do it's called Mute and Scoretech. We do customized sports garments, and basically that's what keeps my times busy, besides cycling and training and other stuff that I do. Yeah.
Cycling is an emerging trend in Vietnam and around the world, partly because of air pollution. So what do you think of the current situation of air pollution in Hanoi?
You know, you don't need to be any master or expert in the field to see that the air quality of Hanoi has decreased, significantly. I think we are at the levels many days of Beijing, or even worse than Beijing, which everybody thinks that it's terrible. The pollution conditions nowadays in Hanoi really requires everyone to be wearing a mask, a carbon-activated mask, because the levels of particles in the air are really bad for your health. I think for sure, something has to be done. We'll see when authorities will put a solution into this problem, but there's no doubt, you just need to look outside what's the air problems that we have right now in Hanoi.
And what do you think of the prospect of car consumption and air pollution in Hanoi in the coming years?
If you look at the number of cars that we're having more and more every day, and how this is getting multiplied, and it also seems that I think by next year or in 2 years, there's going to be zero import tax for some of the Asian countries to bring cars into Vietnam. and how is the weather, the pollution nowadays. As I say, you don't need to be a master to imagine or to see that in, let's say, 1 year, this can only get worse, because there's no possible other solutions that to try to limit the number of cars or to try to find other solutions that can reduce a little bit the pollution that the cars are causing. But if we're just bringing more cars into the city, besides all the traffic problems that we all know and we're all facing every day, there's no doubts that the pollution will keep increasing. I mean, until we solve that problem, there's no other option than wearing a mask and keep surviving.
So in what way does cycling help reduce air pollution?
Cycling, bicycles doesn't have any engine, or some of them have electric engines, but they have zero emissions. So even comparing to cars or comparing it to motorbikes, it's a mean of transport with zero emissions. So it's 100% clean mean of transport. So if you can manage to, convince or make people see that the benefits of cycling in terms of pollution can provide to the city, for sure, if many of the people who are driving cars or riding motorbikes around, especially for short distance commuting, they will change into bicycles, for sure we will reduce, a little bit the emissions. I don't think that bicycles it's the only solution. For sure, there should be many solutions combined to try to get to the final solution. But for sure, it will help. If you go from here to there in a motorbike, or if you go from here to there in a bicycle, because your level of emissions it's totally different, and for sure that has to help.
Diego Cortizas del Valle is a Spanish fashion designer who has been living and working in Hanoi for more than 10 years with the brand name of Chula. Over the last 2 years, he has been using a bicycle to go to work and travel around the West Lake every day. For this man, cycling between 12 and 14 kilometers every day not only improves the health, but also helps protect the environment and reduce traffic jam. Like many other bicycle enthusiasts, the Hanoi Bicycle Collective is Diego's favorite place to get useful information on cycling and get the equipment that he needs.
I think it's very important to have a habit to use the bicycle not just as a sport. Of course, it's very, very interesting to use in the weekend as a sport, but as well to go to work by bicycle. I think is a good habit for the city, because of course there is a lot of traffic in the city, a lot of cars, and then if more people start to use the bicycle, I think we will reduce the traffic and the pollution.
In recent years, the sales of bicycles and the number of suppliers have been climbing in Vietnam. Cycling races are getting expanded and more professional, while amateur clubs also pop up in many cities and provinces across the country. Exhibitions, community events, pro-environment cycling activities, and dialogues on developing bicycles in the urban traffic system have also attracted many participants. Vietnam's National Traffic Safety Committee says local authorities are considering the role of bicycles in the traffic system and solutions for the sustainable development of cycling in the country. The number of bicycle users has been rising but still modest in Hanoi. What do you think of the reasons for the limitation?
There's two things that happened in Hanoi in the last years. The cycling, it really boomed. You can see there were a few bicycle shops many years ago, now there's many. There's many people doing cycling, mainly for sport and recreation. If you go in the mornings, there's hundreds of cyclists in Hanoi for sport and recreation, but still for commuting it's very few. One of the main reasons, it's a status thing, which I hope slowly will change. But the other main important factor is the weather conditions. Hanoi is very humid. Nowadays cycling it's fine, but when we start getting hot, if you cycle you sweat a lot. There are other solutions like electric bicycles, pedal assist electric bicycles especially, where you're still doing a bit of exercise, you're still going by bicycle, but you get an extra power that makes you sweat less. Yeah? So possibilities are there. I think it's more about people making an effort to contribute to Hanoi's pollution and situation than anything else.
What measures have been adopted by your business to promote the use of bicycles?
One of the main goal of my business is to promote cycling for many reasons. One is for environmental reasons, one is for health, because if you're cycling, you're doing exercise. But we always encourage our employees to come by bicycle, to commute by bicycle. Many of them has done it, so we succeed. We also incentive them with, a little bit of money and kind of stuff if they come by bicycle instead of by motorbike. Especially, stuff that doesn't live very far from the shop. Many people, it's just the habit to go by motorbike, but some people live at 2 kilometers, 3 kilometers from the shop. That's nothing. That's from here to the other side of the lake. So you can perfectly cycle. We do that. We bring pollution mask because of the situation. I wish I don't have to bring pollution mask in this country, but with the index that we have and the problems that many, especially for example my kids, they are facing respiratory problems, I think now wearing a mask is very important. There are solutions and it's totally possible, and you will see that there's many people who does it, so it's possible.
At the national level, what are your recommendations for the authorities to promote the use of bicycles in Vietnam?
May I just give you the example of my hometown? I'm from Barcelona, from Spain. When I was younger in Spain, nobody cycles. Why? First, because it was not trendy. We were using cars, we were using motorbikes. Thanks God we had good public transport system also, but we were using cars, we were using motorbikes. We didn't cycle because it was not trendy. But also, another problem in Barcelona, it's the weather conditions. In summer it's really hot, in winter it's really cold. But slowly over the years, the situation it changed. Now, cycling in Barcelona, it's the coolest thing you can do. It's super trendy. So nowadays, everybody's cycling in Barcelona. There's bicycle rental systems where you can get a bicycle, and are public rental systems, so you can get a bicycle for very small money in a point of the city, cycle to wherever you need to go, drop it there in another station. My parents, they are 65, 70 years old. They are using this system. Everybody is now cycling in Barcelona. Why? Because it's convenient, it's cheap, it's healthy, and it's convenient. And when you start seeing more people doing it, you will do. This is, it happens with any product in the market or anything in the market.
And finally, what is your Lunar New Year wish for the audiences, including bicycle users here?
If Hanoi, people who live in Hanoi, Hanoians, they don't take any personal actions, we will never solve the problem. So I really wish that with the efforts from the authorities and the Hanoians, we can reduce the level of pollution in this coming year, and we can live in a healthier city, which I'm pretty sure it's what everybody will like.
Well, Kim, thank you so much for joining us today and sharing some valuable information.
Thank you. Thanks to you too.
Well, that's all for our Sharing Vietnam today. Hopefully, the environment in Hanoi and Vietnam in general will soon get better with more public transportation and more people using bicycles. Thank you so much for watching, and see you again next time.